I think there are three very strong reasons why there is increasing violence against women, not just in India, but probably in Italy and in several parts of the world. The first reason, of course, is that women are getting more empowered. They are standing up for what they believe in. They are talking about their rights. And this actually kind of makes for a kind of insecure place for the man who is used to a very patriarchal tradition. So the man doesn't know where he stands. He doesn't understand what his place in society is. And this makes him kind of not be able to cope. And the reactionary response to that is with violence. The second reason, of course, is also that there is a problem with economies all over the world. And the man is beginning to feel redundant because the woman is going out and she is the provider in some cases. Again, his place in society, in his own self-esteem is questionable, and there is a reactionary response to it. And finally, for a very long time, women never actually made a fuss when they were being treated shabbily, whether it is domestic violence or it is more heinous forms of violence. Not that domestic violence isn't heinous enough, but what I mean is that when you have rape and murder happening, very often, especially in India, women kept quiet about it because it was a matter of shame. But now people actually, not just the woman, but even her families would like to get a kind of response and would like to see the perpetrators of the crime punished. So they talk about it, they go to police stations, they make a complaint, etc. So the world is increasingly aware of what was once a closed secret. Well, you see, one of the things that is a great preoccupation for me is the way women are treated. I'm not talking about the condition of the women generally in society, but I'm talking of how women are perceived and treated. So if in Ladies Coupe Cucete per Signora, where I talked about the different stages of a woman's life and what she goes through in terms of her relationship with patriarchy and a patriarchal tradition. In a book like Lessons in Forgetting, L'Art di Dimenticare, it was a more focused form of violence where right from the time a female child is perceived in the womb, she doesn't stand a chance, up to the story of a woman who in her 40s is forced to relook at life and rebuild it all over again. And even in my newest novel, Keeper of the Light, it is a historical novel, but again, I have dwelt on three women and the status of their lives. Even though they are living in the 17th century, the idea was to show that nothing has changed between the 17th century and the 21st century. I think, and this is something that I have talked about at length, is that the greatest enemy that a woman has is herself, because she doesn't think she's important enough, she doesn't think she is significant enough, and she is a slave to her heart. So she allows her heart to rule and determine every decision she makes. So I do believe that if a woman wants to be strong and empowered, then she needs to first believe that she can have it all. She needs to be able to understand and acknowledge the right of a woman to be a woman. She doesn't have to be like a man. She has to be like a woman, but be an empowered woman who is in no way lesser or significant to any man anywhere in the world. And I think the first thing that women should remember is to be kind to themselves, which we never do all the time. We put everybody else's needs before ours, and that is where we actually fall back in empowering ourselves. You see, it is a historical novel, of course. It is set in 17th century southern India, and it talks about a period of history which not many Indian writers have written about in English especially. But the reason I also wanted to write this novel was I wanted to talk about how in many ways nothing has changed. It may be the 17th century, it may be the 21st century, but the way women were perceived, the way women were treated, the way women have treated themselves have all remained pretty much the same. Everywhere, if there is a strong woman, then she has to stand up for herself and make that path for herself. Nobody is going to make it for her. And even though there are three different, very strong women characters in this, there is a young wife, there is a child prostitute, and there is a slightly older single woman. All three of them, they all meet the same man. And what we see as a reader or as a writer, what I try to convey is that the man went through life without allowing any one of them to hold him back. But each one of these women, they gave all of themselves to him, and in some way, they were the losers rather than the man. Il custode delle luce, or the keeper of the light, refers to two things. One, of course, is that when you look at a diamond, there is a blue light in it. It's called the celestial light, or the blue water, according to jewelers. So anybody who looks after a diamond is called a keeper of the light. That is the figurative meaning. But as a metaphor, what it really means is that there is something that is a beautiful light in every person. And the main character of the novel, Idris, finds that light in two people, his son and the woman that he falls in love with. And he has to make a choice, whose light is he going to keep? And that is what the novel is all about.